Hello, I'm here. One second. I apologize. Can everyone hear me okay?
We do hear you. You may proceed.
Uh, uh, Good morning to the honorable members of the Judiciary Committee. My name is Josiah Schlee. I'm a member of CT Cannon Warriors. I'm here today in opposition of Raise Bill 7258. And I just want to tell you from experience, as someone who's arrested, stone cold sober by a drug recognition expert in Windsor. I believe 16 MAD awards. He leads the department in arrests. He's a drug recognition expert. I was pulled over. I'm a concert photographer, so I stand front row at a concert around people who are smoking cannabis, spilling beer on me all night for 4 hours, staring through a camera lens. So when I drive home, I'm exhausted. I smell like burnt cannabis from other people. People spilled beer all over me. And then I'm on the way home, stone cold sober. I get pulled over by this drug recognition expert. Um, I'd blow zeros. All of a sudden, they smell cannabis. There's no cannabis in my car. And then I fail nystagmus because I have an eye issue, an eye tracking issue. So, how is it fair for me to suffer based off, what happened around me at a concert? And I've also included a study in my submitted testimony that from AAA that THC is active in the blood 24 to 48 hours after abstinence. So blood is just not an accurate metric at all for like current intoxication of cannabis, and neither is this the smell of burnt cannabis. That's why I think the roadside sobriety tests and the things that Staffstrom had mentioned are already in place are the most effective and fair ways. I had to spend 13 months in court fighting these charges. I had to fire a lawyer that cost me $3,500 because he wanted me to plead guilty. And I had a pro bono lawyer take me up, thank God, and go to court with me for 13 months with state forensic crime labs of 0% THC, 0% alcohol, nothing in my blood. I still had to spend 13 months in court. I couldn't get a job anywhere. The day after they dropped the case, I got a job working for the state as a park ranger. So I would really appreciate any questions or any clarification you have on this stuff. I'm totally against driving under the influence of any kind, but I think laws are already in place that cover this. And just like my story, there's so many situations. I was just working, happened to smell like burnt cannabis because of what people were doing around me. I smelled like alcohol because people smelled spilled beer on me. And, I had my life really messed up. I've never recovered from that bump in my work from this. I was doing my job and I was following the law and it ruined my life for over a year. So I just think you need to look at how that affects people.
Thank you. Comment or
Thank
question
you.
from members of the committee? Comment or question, Representative, I just went blank. I hate when that happens.
Osborne?
Osborne, thank you.
I'll remember that and use that later, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Josiah. It's good to see you here in Judiciary as opposed to simply the usual place I see you over in general law. This is a thorny issue that we're grappling with as a community, as a state legislature. And I know that you come to these conversations in good faith. So I really appreciate that. And I'm wondering what ideas you have, because obviously we do have a problem with people driving while either actively smoking marijuana or while driving in a car where others are actively smoking marijuana. And, I've been to concerts. I understand how contact with cannabis smoke works. And, we have an important job to figure out how to do that, because we do have problems with increased accidents and fatalities in our state. And I'm wondering, if you were sitting in my seat, what would you do about that problem? Knowing that you are a cannabis warrior and you're an advocate for cannabis. How would you thread that needle as we're sitting here so we can curb people who are actively using and driving high and keep our streets safer while avoiding the problems that you experience? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you.
No, I appreciate that very much. I think as it stands, really the most accurate metric is observing erratic or unsafe driving. And then when they pull someone over, I think it was Staffstrom, and I forget who he was speaking with at the time, said that, there's a ton of different violations that can lead to a search if needed or roadside sobriety if needed. And I really think roadside sobriety, my nystagmus issue is unique to me. A lot of people don't have that issue. So normally, I think roadside sobriety is really the best metric to stick with. That's the safest to identify people. And I also noticed that all the billboards in the state, like, if you feel different, you drive different, like about driving high. Where did all those go? Like, where are all the billboards with education reminding people not to drive high and just to be responsible users? Because, the blood doesn't work as a metric. The how I appear doesn't work as a metric. My eyes could be red. I could smell like cannabis from something else. I could smell like cannabis for legally working in the industry based off the odor just coming home from work. I really think it needs to be roadside sobriety and observed erratic or dangerous driving. And then the officer can then take that route after approaching the window, whether they smell burnt cannabis based on how the operator was driving. They can then determine whether they actually are impaired or not. As I've attached a lot of studies I encourage everyone to look at. They're very extensive from AAA and NHTCA on cannabis intoxication and blood concentration levels, and it's very clear that blood is not a good indicator. And I think, roadside sobriety is just really the best and the simplest way to go to not especially regress and accidentally target, especially legal industry workers and people like me who are just following the law, doing their job, shouldn't have to suffer.
Thanks for your thoughts on that.
And I
Thanks,
appreciate the
Mr. Chair.
question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you.
Further questions or comments?